Next news, breaking news.
New York City is about to learn a brutal lesson on socialist economics, and folks, it's going to be painful to watch. Mayor Zoran Mamdani just announced a plan that has Wall Street titan Jamie Dimon sounding the alarm, warning of a massive exodus from the Big Apple. We're talking about a $12.6 billion deficit, and instead of cutting spending, this radical leftist mayor wants to squeeze every last penny from successful New Yorkers. But here's the kicker that the mainstream media won't tell you. Buried in this agenda is a so-called racial equity plan that critics are calling government-mandated racism. Is New York City becoming the first American city to openly embrace race-based communism? Now here's why this should terrify every American, whether you live in New York or not. What happens in New York doesn't stay in New York. When radical progressives experiment with socialist policies in our nation's financial capital, it sends shockwaves through the entire economy. Jamie Dimon isn't just warning about some abstract economic theory. He's telling his shareholders point blank that Mamdani's tax increase means lower returns on capital, less competitiveness, and that individuals vote with their feet. Translation? The wealth creators, the job makers, the people who actually fund city services, they're leaving. And who gets left holding the bag? Working and middle-class families who can't afford to escape. But it gets even worse. Mamdani is also rolling out a racial equity plan that will prioritize city resources based on skin color. 45 city agencies all working under one framework to distribute your tax dollars based on race. This is not equality, folks. This is the exact kind of government-mandated discrimination that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. fought against. If they can do it in New York, they'll try it in your city next. And speaking of cities in crisis, I need to ask you something very important. If a major disruption happened tomorrow and you couldn't get to the store, how long could you actually survive with what's in your house right now? Now, be honest with yourself. If it's anything less than a month, you need to check out our friends at My Patriot Supply. They're America's #1 preparedness company with over 3 million satisfied customers who understand that hoping for the best while preparing for nothing is not a plan. When cities like New York spiral into chaos, when policies fail and supply chains break down, the people who are prepared are the ones who survive. And right now, when you go to preparewithgary.com, their best-selling 4-week emergency food supply comes with an additional week of food absolutely free. That's 5 weeks of security for your family. Don't wait until the shelves are empty. Go to preparewithgary.com today. Now let's get back to the destruction of New York City because it gets even more outrageous. Are you ready for this? This is what really exposes Mamdani's agenda. When confronted about removing DEI language from his racial equity report, his administration claimed they inherited a diluted document from the prior administration. But then they strengthened it. They made it more radical, not less. And get this, they're openly admitting the report shows a median white household in New York has over $200,000 in wealth, while black households have less than $20,000. So what's their solution? Not lifting everyone up, it's tearing successful people down through government-mandated redistribution. I'm going to show you exactly what these radicals are saying. Check this out from Wall Street Mav. A $12.6 billion deficit looms. So what does the mayor do? He chases money out of the door.
Desperate for money. A $12.6 billion deficit looms. So what does the mayor do? He chases money out the door. Zoran Mamdani is locking the city into financial chaos, and it's not gone unnoticed. Top banker Jamie Dimon has sent a letter to his shareholders. He's warning, it's a strong warning. Mamdani's proposed tax increases, quote, mean lower returns on capital, less competitiveness, and additionally, individuals vote with their feet. You can already see a fairly large exodus of people and jobs, end quote. Mamdani, he's not listening. He made promises to get elected, and now he finds he can't keep those promises because he hasn't got the money. He's so deep in the hole that he's really going to extremes. Here's the money grab. Here's a list. A huge increase in corporate taxes. An extra tax on incomes over $1 million a year. You know, when you throw in state and federal taxes, the government's taking more than half of your income if you make real good money. And look at the last one. Raise the top estate tax from 16 to 50%. Oh, that means the government will take half of what you spent a lifetime accumulating. Now, we don't know exactly which taxes he will be able to raise, but his sweeping proposals tell you where he and the powerful left wing of the Democrat Party are coming from. They don't like business, and they don't understand that business creates prosperity, and they don't understand that financial success should be encouraged, not dismissed as greed. But that's what it has come to in New York. A bright young man running a strong social media campaign convinced voters that the rich and big business must be reined in. What a mistake.
Yeah, New York's about to find out the hard way. Yes, Mamdani's tax plan driving business away, shifting focus to a so-called racial equity plan. Mamdani announces the racial equity plan that will prioritize resources for black and brown New Yorkers. This is not just institutional racism, it's government-mandated racism, and it should be illegal. Listen.
While today's true cost of living measure confirms that the affordability crisis touches every corner of our city, we know that these effects are not applied evenly. So often, it is black and brown New Yorkers who are hit the hardest. This preliminary racial equity plan is the first step in developing a whole-of-government approach to tackling that reality. It is a plan that lays out these first steps to solve decades of neglect and discrimination, and it places the work of 45 city agencies within a singular framework.
But don't worry. It's a whole-of-government approach to institutionalize racism. Mamdani's call for the wealthiest to pay more isn't just making headlines, it's fueling the exodus. Now here's Mamdani as he defends the policies while the city's middle class continues voting with their feet.
Amidst being in the wealthiest city and the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we already see an exodus of working and middle-class New Yorkers. So I don't have a hesitation in asking those who make the most amount of money in the city or the most profits in the city to pay a little bit more so that everyone can actually stay in this city. It's also something not just about justice or the ability for working class people to live here. It is also actually about ensuring that corporations can continue to attract the top talent to this city. Because in a city where childcare costs more than $20,000 a year, I've heard from corporate leaders about how difficult it is for them to attract individuals who would work at their companies but want to raise a family, because you could be making $300,000 a year and you will feel that $20,000 a year because of the fact that we have allowed for the absence of affordable childcare to become reality here in this city.
But the reality in New York is about to get a lot worse. From prioritizing race to justifying fiscal burdens, his rhetoric claims past injustice as the root cause. Now, we'll see how this narrative plays out, his agenda, and what critics have to say. Helen Andrews, we gradually transitioned from a democratic welfare state to a full-on race communism between the 60s and today for two reasons. The beneficiaries of our race laws went from 10% of the population to a majority in places like New York and soon a majority nationally. Here's Mamdani.
To report in City and State today about how your administration removed DEI language from the racial equity report that you released this week. Why was that decision made, and do you support that decision?
So I want to be very clear. Our administration inherited a report that the prior administration had refused to release, a report that had been heavily diluted over many rounds of revisions. We took the time to strengthen this report to ensure that it was actually an accurate reflection of the city that we all love and know as our home, and to actually release this report within the first 100 days. Now, in this report, what we've seen, it's a report that is both coupled with a true cost of living report, is that the inequities in this city, the racial inequities, are stark. We are talking about findings that have shown that the wealth of a median white household in this city is more than $200,000, while that of a black household is less than $20,000. This is not an indictment of any one New Yorker. It is an indictment, however, of policies and politics that have persisted for far too long. Our commitment now is to act upon these findings, to do so in concert with New Yorkers' comments, as we've now opened a public comment period for the next 30 days to ensure that we have a city where we are reckoning with the long history of racism here and starting to act upon a framework that puts equity right at the center of it. Thank you.
Sure. But why remove the DEI language?
We put forward a stronger report that actually reflects the realities New Yorkers are living through.
Oh my God, what did he just say? Did that make any sense? The wealth of median white household in the city is more than $200,000, and then a black household less than 20. We're reckoning with the long history of racism. Oh my goodness. New York has fallen, guys. It's over. What you're witnessing is the death of the American dream in New York City, and it's being murdered by design. Mamdani actually stood there and said, quote, "I don't have a hesitation in asking those who make the most amount of money to pay a little bit more so everyone can stay in the city." But here's the truth that he will not admit. His policies are why people are leaving. You cannot tax your way to prosperity. You cannot redistribute your way to equality. And you absolutely cannot heal racial divisions by creating government programs that explicitly favor one race over another. Jamie Dimon sees it. Successful New Yorkers see it. And now you see it. This is not about helping the poor. This is about punishing success and implementing a race-based communism system right here in the United States. You see, New York used to be the shining example of American ambition and opportunity. Now it's becoming a cautionary tale of what happens when radical leftists get their hands on power. Mayor Mamdani is driving out the very people who create jobs and fund city services, all while implementing policies that divide Americans by skin color. This is exactly why we need to stay vigilant and stay informed and stand united against this creeping socialism. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think New York City can survive Mamdani's radical agenda? Drop a yes or no in the comments and tell me why. And since you watched this full video, that means you actually care about this topic. I want to make sure that you continue to get the information that you deserve, that you ask for. Text raw feed to 844-840-4963 because when the YouTube notifications never arrive or the algorithm pushes cat videos in your face, I will not. I will send you the truth and the information that you need to make informed decisions for your family. So text raw feed to 844-840-4963. And if this video opened your eyes, smash the share button right now. And get this in front of everybody you know. And don't forget to check out the Next News merch shop below this video and show your support for independent journalism. We're fighting the good fight every single day because somebody has to tell you the truth. I'm Gary Franchi. Stay informed and stay free.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. You know out.